In fact, it was blooming rude, I thought, the whole thing. Rude, insulting, inappropriate.
So Farage thinks it's rude, insulting and inappropriate to wave a flag.
I know you want to ban our national flags, but we're going to wave you goodbye, and we'll look forward in the future.
So it looks like Farage, Richard Tice and the like are running scared at the moment. I think they feel quite threatened by possibly one of the most peaceful protests I've ever seen in this country. They want the EU flag banned from prom. I mean, I'm not really sure how this lot want us to protest. I mean, Just Stop Oil, they wanted them banned. Insulate Britain, they wanted them banned. And like I said, possibly one of the most peaceful protests I've ever seen. Just waving a couple of flags at prom. They want that banned as well. I'm not really sure where these guys expect us to protest. Maybe in the privacy of our own home. Maybe they'll be happy us protesting there as well. But the thing is, they're obviously threatened by this, and they're running scared because those watching at home are maybe on the fence about Brexit. Maybe recently they've been thinking, you know, quietly to themselves. They may have voted for Brexit. They may have been thinking, do you know what? I don't know whether this was the right thing to do. I can't really see any tangible benefits from Brexit. And then they tune into the proms and they see, oh, wow, it looks like there's quite a lot of support for the EU. Maybe I'm not on my own. You know, this is exactly what scares the crap out of people like Richard Tice and Farage. They don't want public opinion switching. That's their worst nightmare, and that's why they're running scared. That's why they feel really threatened by just some simple flags being flown at the proms. And the thing is, Farage doesn't really help himself in the rest of this interview.
No, I don't think Brexit itself legally is going to be reversed. That's not the problem. The problem is, whilst we may be standing taller on the world stage as an independent country, and that's beyond doubt.
Standing tall on the world stage. Farage, are you serious? Are you serious? We're a laughing stock, mate. Everyone's laughing at us. We left the largest trading bloc in the world on our doorstep and then went grovelling to the Pacific countries to join TTIP. Fucking trade deal thousands of miles away. Nothing reeks more of desperation than that. Went over to the Pacific countries, go, oh, can we join your trade bloc, please? Really? You just left one, like, on your doorstep, the biggest one in the world. Why do you want to come and join ours? You're thousands of miles away. Oh, but please, you're not even in the Pacific Ocean. This is a trade deal for Pacific Ocean countries. Please. Oh, fuck it. Oh, okay, might be a laugh. Go on, let the UK in. We're a laughing stock, mate. Even Jacinda Ardern, did you see her trying to not laugh when she was announcing our trade deal with New Zealand?
I am delighted to announce today that following a conversation with Prime Minister Johnson last night, New Zealand and the United Kingdom have agreed in principle an historic, high-quality, comprehensive and inclusive free trade agreement. Wine is our largest export to the UK. We send around 463 million of high-quality New Zealand wine to the UK each year. I note it was one of the first things that Prime Minister Johnson mentioned. This agreement overnight will remove $14.1 million of tariffs annually. For the dairy industry, they will now have commercially meaningful access for products such as butter and cheese, opening an important market that we have effectively been locked out of for a long time.
So we screw over our own farmers in this country by giving New Zealand tariff-free access to sell their dairy, to sell their wine, to sell their cheap hormone meat over here. And what are we selling New Zealand exactly? I'm trying desperately to work out how we benefit from this trade deal, and it's not all benefit to New Zealand, which is why Jacinda Ardern is trying her hardest not to laugh when she's announcing this deal, because it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, why would you give that up? We used to have tariff-free access to sell, our farmers used to sell veg to the EU, our fishermen used to sell their fish to the EU, tariff-free, our dairy to the EU, and we've given that up to try our best to sell that to New Zealand, thousands of miles away, that produce all that shit themselves. So why would they import ours?
The problem is domestically, people who voted Brexit are not seeing any of the results they expected. And, you know, one of the reasons that we voted Brexit, we saw what was happening in the Mediterranean. And we said, these people have made such a mess of this, we want nothing to do with it. And yet we've got our own version of the Mediterranean that's happened. So that's one reason why people are disappointed.
Not this one again. You guys know this. I don't need to repeat this. All I'm going to say, in 2020, we had 8,000 migrant crossings. January 2021, Brexit was implemented. In 2021, we had 28,000 crossings. It's not a coincidence. When we were in the EU, we used to deal with this problem as a collective. Now we're just little England and we can't cope with it.
The other, you know, there are millions of people out there, men and women, doing their absolute best to run their little businesses, to act as sole traders, and they genuinely thought that the heavy hand of bureaucracy and taxation would be lighter outside of the EU. And unfortunately, under this government, in nearly all regards, it's become heavier. So there is great disappointment about the execution of Brexit.
Brexit will never make life easier for local business. It doesn't matter which government implement it, whether it's the Tories, whether it's Labour, whether it's you, Farage. Okay, being outside of the single market is never going to make trading easier for local businesses. It's such a redundant argument. It's so stupid.
And I think, for me particularly, an understanding that the Conservative Party never believed in it. I mean, if I hadn't forced them into it, in those European elections of 2019, you know, I wonder whether the Damien Greens and others would have been pushing for a second referendum then.
So just to summarise, people like Farage, like Richard Tice, they're actually generally scared about this stuff with the EU flag, because if Brexit was going so well, they wouldn't care about this stuff. They'd laugh it off. They'd be on GB News going, oh God, look at these Remainers waving their flags. Can they not see the amazing benefits of Brexit? But the fact of the matter is they know. They know that Brexit is shit. That's why they're so scared of this stuff, because they can't have public opinion changing. And something like this will do a lot to getting people out of the closet that are starting to regret Brexit. So, what's your thoughts, guys? Please leave in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, put a like. I'm not monetized, so if you want to show some love, put a like on the video. Subscribe if you're not. And there should be another video up if you want to check that one out. Till next time, take care.